Creativity is pure gold, no matter what you do in life, no matter in that creative thinkers explore options. They do not look for the only answer, they look for the best answer. And how is this done? The dull man who is always sure, and the sure man who is always dull. To get up and to try again, using a different method, using a different ideology. Hi, welcome to Book Review DNG, a channel which was created to share premium content from different books around the world that talk about personal development, business, and so many other topics that have personally inspired me. And today we shall be continuing with the book that we started last week, How Successful People Think, with John C. Maxwell. And we are on the third chapter that talks about creative thinking. So creativity is pure gold, no matter what you do in life, no matter in which field you're actually working in. You need to be creative because it's going to be something that you're adding onto your establishment, onto your workplace. Your creativity is something that sets you apart from what other people in your workspace are actually doing. So in this book, we are being told by John C. Maxwell that creative thinking is a composite of other thoughts discovered along the way. Because when you're working in an enterprise, let's say, you'll meet people who have completely different ideas from yours. But as you keep interacting with them, you can actually bring creative thinking by compiling all your ideas together and adding a little bit of innovations to it to make something really good out of it. And so in this book, John C. Maxwell gives us characteristics of creative thinkers. The first one is the value ideas. How? A creative thinker is someone who is able to pay close attention to other people's ideas before speaking. Like they really value other people's ideas. It's done in such a way that when you are talking, they are listening to you. They are getting things out of your idea that they could put into their idea so that the idea altogether can make something unique and something big that can benefit the company. Secondly, he says that creative thinkers explore options. They do not look for the only answer, they look for the best answer. And how is this done? It is done by putting all the ideas together into one big one, because they will have many options to pick from. Many options, they'll say, this one has brought idea A, this one has brought idea B, this one is saying C. So which of these can best work for our enterprise, instead of only relying on one option, on one idea. Thirdly, they embrace ambiguity. And here it says, there is a quote from writer H.L. Mencken that says, "It is the dull man who is always sure, and the sure man who is always dull." Creative people don't feel the need to be uncertain about the things that they're working about. Because, creativity is being odd, it's being unusual from the normal of our society. Creative thinkers celebrate the offbeat. By offbeat, we mean the odd. Things that are not really associated with the society, things that the society has not yet accepted. But that's what creative thinkers use, because when you bring something a little bit unusual into something that is known, something that is accepted, it brings up something new, a new idea that could actually innovate the society, that could actually turn the company into something big. Because you might have been trying the normal things, but perhaps they weren't working. So you have to sometimes get out of the usual, get out of the comfort zone, to bring in something new, something that people are not used of seeing or even having around, so that maybe that idea could even work. Lastly, creative thinkers connect the unconnected. So once you begin to think, you are free to collect. You ask yourself, what materials relate to this thought? What materials can actually make my thoughts better? And after that, you ask yourself, what ideas can make my thoughts better? Because now when you're on a round table, each one will have ideas. But hearing from those different ideas, you can actually pick that Miriam's idea can actually add value onto my own thoughts. So after doing that, you start to take that idea that you've already connected to somebody else's idea, and you take it to the next level by asking yourself, what changes can be made to this idea to make them better? Then finally, you have to connect the ideas by positioning them in the right context to make the thoughts complete and powerful. You have to think, you have to connect, you have to create, correct, then connect, in order for you to have a successful creative thinking. Lastly, creative thinkers don't fear failure. They are not afraid to try out new things. They are not afraid to fail, because when you're actually employing creative thinking, you should expect to fail, because it's something new, it's something unusual. So there are higher chances of you failing. But creative thinkers are not afraid of that. They don't fear failing. No matter the number of times they fail, they will always find a way to get up and to try again, using a different method, using a different ideology. Yeah. So that's the characteristics that John C. Maxwell gave us of creative thinkers. And then he goes on by telling us, he gives us reasons actually as to why we should discover the joy of creative thinking. Because creative thinking can actually improve a person's quality of life. I don't know if you understand, because when you're creative, it's easy for you to find solutions to the problems that you're having in your life, no matter the sector. It could be family, it could be financially related, it could be with work or even education. You always find a solution because you are creative. You know how to play around with your imagination. John C. Maxwell believes that creativity is being able to see what everybody else has seen and think what nobody else has thought, so that you can do what nobody else has done. Let me repeat that again. Creativity is being able to see what everybody else has seen and think what nobody else has thought, so that you can be able to achieve what nobody else has done. So sometimes thinking comes in the lines of intention and innovation. You can actually come up with something new on your own, based on what other people have been ignoring all this time. And that's what creativity is. It adds value to everything that might have been ignored, or something that might have not been given so much value as it ought to. So creativity actually helps us to add value to certain things in the world. Let me give you an example. We might be standing in a forest and we are looking at trees, two different people, and I'm seeing out of that tree I could actually make a fine piece of art that could make my house look better, maybe. Whereas the other person is just thinking of making charcoal. That is the difference between him and I. Because I'm looking for a way of making this better, something that will last. But once you turn wood into charcoal, you're just going to use it, and that is it. You will not even remember. Secondly, creativity accumulates. The more you use creative thinking, the more you become creative. Poet Maya Angelou observed that you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. So the more you employ your creativity, the more you're actually going to become creative. Creative thinking draws people to you and your ideas. When you become creative, generally you become more attractive, because people are usually attracted to intelligent people, to smart people that know how to play around with their imagination. And that is something that is good, because you'll become the boss's favorite at your workplace, because he will know that this person, I can bring this raw idea to him, and he will actually develop it to something better, to something great, to something that can actually make big changes for the company. And that is also something beautiful. Second point, think creatively by asking the right questions. So he gives a quote from Sir Anthony J, which goes, "The uncreative mind can spot wrong answers, but it takes a creative mind to spot wrong questions." Let me repeat again. The uncreative mind can spot wrong answers, but it takes a creative mind to spot wrong questions. Because wrong questions shut down the creative thinking process. And as such, we must learn which questions should we ask. For example, why must it be done this way? What is the root problem? What are the underlying issues before dealing with something? This is a way to activate our creative thinking, because when you ask yourself such questions, you actually get many options into your brain about the possible answers. Third point, you have to develop a creative environment. Charlie Brown said, "A new idea is delicate. It can be easily killed." And as such, you must ensure that the place where you are in is actually a suitable environment to develop, to help you grow your creative thinking. Fourth point, spend time with other creative people. Creativity is contagious. The more you spend time around people that are creative, you start to think like them, you start behaving like them, you start pushing yourself during brainstorming season to also develop that creative thinking, to also see what value you can add onto other people's thoughts. And that is something nice, because it also helps us to check out the kind of friends that we have in the same process, because you cannot hang around people that are not at least helping you to become creative. Last point is you have to get out of your box. You have to move around, travel the world, get to meet new cultures, interact with people from different places. Because I believe when you actually meet with someone who is from a different culture, he actually has a different way of thinking. He has a different way of seeing things. And this is going to help you to apply at least his way of thinking into your own way of thinking, and it's going to become something new. It's going to be like innovation. It's like you getting into, maybe, let me say, BMW, the newest one. You feel, you see, it's going to actually motivate you to work hard. It's going to make you more hungry for success. And that is also something so powerful. So I would like to end with this. Many people mistakenly believe, I have to repeat this again, many people actually believe that creativity is something you have to be born with. But I want to argue with you all that it's something that you can develop. Don't limit yourself to the thought that you have to be born creative. No. I want to encourage each one of you out there that creativity is something you can actually develop. Because John C. Maxwell has even given us so many strategies and examples that we can use in order to develop creative thinking and be more creative in our lives. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.